Before he goes to the University of Georgia, start his college career, Anthony the Ant-Man Edwards is good enough to spend a little time with us here on DawgNation. Anthony, first of all, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
So one of the things that amazed me about your story is how fast all of this seems to happen. You go from at one point in time being a 4-star recruit, now you're a 5-star recruit, you reclassify. Are you ever amazed at kind of how fast all of this has come together?
Yes, sir, most definitely. I mean, time flies, so like my coach told me, it's going to go by real fast, so you got to make sure you make the best of it.
What have you learned as you've kind of been poked and prodded? Media guys like me want to talk to you. Scouts want to analyze you. What have you learned about yourself throughout all this process?
That I'm just a great kid. I mean, I'm always happy, fun to be around, and just respectful.
One of the things you and I were talking about before we started the interview is I hear from Georgia fans every day, and one of the things I hear is how much excitement there is about having you on the Georgia campus. You're about to show up there as a student. You'll be a player later on in the fall. Do you get a sense from Georgia fans yourself about the sense of anticipation about having you on the floor?
Yes, sir. I mean, it's just fun to know a lot of people is happy for me to come on campus. I mean, I feel like I'm going to be at home all the time. I'm not going to need to go back home, so I'm just glad to know that.
And, of course, one of the things that Georgia fans like to do is pass around those highlights, the big dunks and things like that. And I was looking at some highlights for you, and if you don't mind, I want to show you something for a second. What comes to your mind when I show you this series of highlights right here? What comes to your mind when you see
That's the dog, hey, man. That's that football. Hey, I loved football when I was younger. I was a dog.
So I have to admit, until recently, I didn't know you were. I mean, when you watch these highlights, you're obviously the same Ant-Man we see on the floor.
Yeah, I'm good at football. I can play wide receiver, but
I mean, do you ever think what might have been when you see yourself doing that kind of
yeah,
stuff?
sometimes I'll be thinking like, man, I could play out there with those people, but I just don't like it no more.
I can understand that, but being at a school like Georgia, where obviously the football program is so good, I'm sure you're planning on going to a lot of games, right?
Most definitely. I mean, I'm really cool with LeCount, Brian, so I'm looking forward to going to a whole lot of games.
Now, obviously, because the football program has been so big, the basketball program still looking for that same kind of success. Do you feel any, I guess, extra pressure knowing that a lot of people say Anthony Edwards is the player we've been waiting on for a long time? Does that put any extra pressure on your shoulders or anything?
I mean, no, sir. It's just I love this game. I mean, one day I want to get paid to play this game, so I feel like it's not pressure. I mean, I go to the gym, work this amount of hours to be who I am, so it's no pressure. It's what I do, so I just love it.
One of the things I've heard you say before is that one of the things that influenced you to want to play for Tom Crean was the fact that Tom Crean coached Dwayne Wade, Victor Oladipo at Indiana. But one of the things about you, if you don't mind me saying so, that makes you different than them, and I don't mean to brag on you, but you're probably more developed as a high school guy than
when they came in, they wasn't that developed. He had to help them. They had the game, but they wasn't there yet, so he had to help them. So me, this is how I look at it. Me coming in with my development already is gonna just make me way better. If he could develop him into that type of player, what can he do with me?
How do you think that's going to force him to coach you differently, knowing that your game is – these are guys that got drafted very high. Right. How's that going to make your, I guess, his relationship with you a little different? How do you think that's going to change that?
I mean, I don't think it's going to change it at all. I mean, treat me the same as you treat everyone else. I'm going to respect you, you respect me. I mean, I love Tom Crean. I mean, I just can't wait to play for him.
What is your relationship with him like, and what have you kind of learned about him as you've moved through the recruiting process?
He's really energetic. I mean, he's always having energy every time he comes around me. He loves basketball. He loves to talk about basketball, so that's the type of person I want to be around.
That sounds great. One of the things that we as fans do is we like making comparisons. This player reminds you of that player. When you look at your own game and what Dogs fans are going to see on the court this fall, who do you pattern your game after, or who do you think fans are going to be reminded of when they watch you play?
I don't really pattern my game off anyone. I mean, my dad, my brothers, I'm going to pattern myself off of Anthony Edwards. That's what they're going to see.
I like that. You bringing your own style to the table. There was some news involving Georgia this week. Nicholas Claxton, the guy, a veteran that you could have played with, he's going to stay in the NBA draft. What's your reaction to finding out you're not going to get a chance to play with Nick?
I mean, at the moment it was bad, but I got to think about it in a good way. I mean, he's going off to pursue his dream, so that's great.
And obviously basketball is a little bit of a chemistry sport. We see this in the NBA too. So you're going to be playing a lot of other guys who are young too. How do you develop that chemistry early, knowing you guys are in some cases different parts of the country? You may know some, you may not know others. How do you develop that chemistry with the guys you will be playing with quickly?
I mean, just going up there early this summer, I mean, we're going to develop, I mean, us keeping in contact. We got a group chat going, so we're already cool. We're gonna build chemistry when we get on campus, become close friends. We're all freshmen, so we know it's a lot for us to learn. So we're just gonna help each other out and push each other throughout.
How much are you driven by some of the stuff that you see, whether it be the chase to be the #1 player or the chase to maybe one day be the #1 overall pick in the NBA draft? Obviously, you know what the internet says. You get compared to the R.J. Hamptons and the James Wisemans and the people like that. How much does that personally drive you to be viewed as the #1 overall best?
I mean, I don't really get into all that. I just do what I love, play basketball, go out there, give it my all every time I'm on the court, and just thank God.
One of those guys, Hampton, just made the choice this week not to go to college. He's going to go play overseas. We're also living in an era in the future where we may not see guys that could go out of high school to the NBA. They may not go to college in a few years. So knowing all that's out there, why was college the right choice for you?
I mean, I just wanted to get an education. I mean, my family didn't have the money to pay for me to get an education, so if somebody going to give me a free education, I'm going to take it.
And then, obviously, we don't know yet how long you'll be at Georgia. Some guys like you are only at school for a year. Some guys stay longer than that. But when you think about the time that you're going to be at UGA, ultimately, what do you want your UGA legacy to be?
Just always great energy, respectful kid. I mean, he's never, bringing bad energy, bad vibes around. Always respect the teachers, the staff, everybody. I mean, I want to leave a good impression on everybody.
How good do you think Georgia can be next season?
I think we can be really good. I'm looking forward to it.
Anthony, we're looking forward to seeing you play as well.
Thank you so much for having me.